Morning, everybody. Jeremy Brunansky here with Brunansky's Vlog. It's 10 a.m. PST. It's Monday morning. It's time for another brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog. We are going to get started this week as soon as we get the green light from YouTube that says we have a strong connection. So let's go ahead and check for that. Looks like we do. So we're going to go ahead and roll the intro, and then we will be right back to start this week's brand new live episode where we are going to talk some songs that have just been released, right? The new Venom movie, Muse has a new song. Disneyland is actually going to be selling booze inside the park. That's different. And we've got Operation Finale and more. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this intro. We're going to jump right into this week's show, and then we will get you guys rocking and rolling back into your Monday morning routine. So stay with me, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeremy Brunansky. It's Monday morning. It's 10 a.m. PST. You're live with me right here on YouTube. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me for another brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog. We have got a lot to talk about, but before we jump into everything, let's get the commercials out of the way. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Brunansky's Vlog. Also, the Stardust app. Stardust is where I do all of my movie trailer reviews. Right now, we have over 200 trailer reviews up there, so make sure that you download the Stardust app and then find us at Brunansky's Vlog. That's where you can check out all of the movie trailer reviews right there on Stardust. Also, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much. Every Monday morning at 10 a.m. PST, we talk movie news, reviews, and a little bit more. So if you like movies, which I'm hoping you do if you're watching, go ahead and click the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get the notifications when new content drops. And if at any point during this week's show, you enjoy any portion of the show, go ahead and give me the thumbs up, because the thumbs up helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show right here on YouTube. Now, as we go through this week's episode, we are going to be talking about some news stories as well as a music video. And then we've got Certified Rad, my personal favorite segment to close out this week's show. All of the articles, all of the links necessary for the show are going to be down below in the description box. So if you want to follow along with the articles as we go through them, just hit the little arrow, expand the description box. All of the articles are down there. And if you're wondering what it would take to start your own YouTube channel, if you've had any curiosity about doing your own show, whether it's movie related, music related, news related, whatever, if you just want to vlog, I throw some recommendations down there below as well for what I think you might want to consider picking up just to get yourself started on your own YouTube channel just like this. So go ahead, expand it, check it all out. It's all waiting there for you. We're going to get into this week's show. We're going to dive into some news stories, take a look at the box office, and then we will get rocking and rolling you guys back into your Monday morning routines. So again, thank you so much for joining. So let's go ahead now and jump right into the news segment. All right, so this week for the news, we've got a lot of things popped off in the news. Down below is the ticker tape. That's going to be our honorable mentions. Honorable mentions for faithful viewers. You've heard me say this before. If you're new to the show, honorable mentions are news stories that popped off that I found interesting, but we didn't really have enough time to dive into for this week's show. So those stories are running down below, so keep your eyes open for that. Now, over the week, we had some music pop off, right? Eminem announced that he has a new album out, and he's going to be doing a song for the new Venom movie. So, okay. So far, Venom has kind of been hit or miss for me, right? That initial trailer, that teaser, I didn't really care for. The movie's called Venom. We didn't see Venom at all in the teaser. And then we got the trailer where we actually get to see Venom, right? And now we actually get to see more of the symbiotes and everything else like that. But then, if you saw the trailer, you know there's the infamous line, right? Like a turd in the wind. He's holding that guy in the convenience store. He's talking about eating him. And he says the line, like a turd in the wind. And that just pulled me out of the trailer, man. It pulled me out. I was like, okay, this is pretty dope. I'm liking how everything is looking. I'm liking the vibe. And then he says that, and I was like, oh no, 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 no. This just isn't going to work for me. So I'm hoping whatever the next trailer is, you know, puts more faith in me, because then Eminem announced that he's doing a song for it. I listened to a little bit of the what's available on YouTube this morning before the show, just so I could get a hear on it. And I was just like, this isn't building my confidence up for this movie at all. It was like here, and then the trailer hit where we actually saw Venom, and I was like, okay, we got to bump up. And then the line "Turd in the Wind" hit, and I went, ooh, 1 step forward, 5 steps backwards. I was like, that's not helping at all. And then the news with Eminem, I was like, interesting, 1 step forward again. And then I heard like a snippet of the song, and I was like, not so much, not so much. So in general, Venom is not selling me on the awesomeness that it could be. I'm hoping it's awesome, because I don't want to go see a movie that stinks, right? I don't think anybody does, but I'm hoping it's awesome. Hopefully there's some more marketing material that comes out to instill some faith in me for this movie. But right now it's not looking so. And then also Muse has announced that they got a new album coming out, and they just dropped their single. And the single is called The Darkside. So down below, I threw a link for the music video. You can check it out if you haven't, if you're a fan of Muse like I am. This is pretty cool news, right? So Muse has a new single. It's pretty futuristic synthy pop, right? So if you've heard the song, you're like, okay, cool. You could drive to it. In the music video, it's a guy driving. In fact, the music video, I wrote my notes down here. It looks like a cross between Nintendo's Outrun, which was from like 1986, and then A Need for Speed, the movie Tron. And if you remember way back, way back, Disney had, and they show it now that we're moving into Halloween, we'll probably see more of it. They had this old black and white cartoon called Disney Skeletons Dance. And it's just these, you know, it's like somebody on like a xylophone, and like the skeletons are dancing to it. And that's kind of like, it's a cross between Tron, Need for Speed, Outrun, and the Skeleton Dance, like all thrown into one music video with a guy driving and synthy pop goodness playing throughout the music video. So check it out. It is very colorful. Like I said, with the mix of Tron. So there's a lot of really cool neon work in it. But again, if you're a fan of Muse, you might not be disappointed. You might be disappointed that that's their first release for the radio for commercial reasons, but I thought it was fine. I'm sure the album is going to have some deeper cuts, as they usually do, and some real thought-provoking, some real like mind-bending stuff with how they orchestrate their sounds and their songs. So looking forward to more from that. But check it out. It's down below. Muse, The Darkside. Link is there. Hit it up. All right, so let's go ahead and move into the weekend box office report. I was able to get out to the theater to see one film this week, and that was Operation Finale. So stay tuned for my review after the movie news. That review is going to be dropping, and then we'll take a look at what's hitting theaters this week, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater this week, and Certified Rad. So I got out to see Operation Finale. Let's take a look at the weekend box office and see what you guys were checking out in theaters this week, right? So we'll go from number 5 to number 1, as we always do, and we'll see what my thoughts are on that. So coming in at number 5, we have Operation Finale at $6,019,000. Number 4, Searching at $6,070,000. Mission Impossible Fallout coming in at number 3 at $7,035,000. The Meg at $10,540,000, and Crazy Rich Asians at $22,100,000. So interesting week at the box office. Yeah, let's just dive into it, right? So we have The Meg in its 4th week coming in at number 2. Wow. Now, my review for The Meg is up on this channel. If you go to the movie reviews playlist, you can check out my review for The Meg. This is just a fun movie. Like, there's nothing crazy awesome about it. There's nothing crazy terrible about it. It's very much a B-Shark movie. It celebrates the fact that it's a B-Shark movie. It delivers on exactly what it promises. I was not disappointed. Mission Impossible Fallout. Loved Mission Impossible Fallout. I still think, as you've heard me say before on this channel, if you're faithful watchers, I think the Mission Impossible franchise might be the best action movie franchise in cinematic history overall. I just think they continue to knock it out of the park with every film they do. Leave your thoughts, if you have a counter argument to that statement, in the comments section below. Coming in at number 4 is Searching. In its 2nd week, we have $6 million. This is a little smaller film, but it got really good critical response at the festivals that it was hitting beforehand. And now that it's out, it seems to be getting some pretty positive response as well. So great job with Searching. Haven't seen it yet, but again, all the online stuff you can find is pretty positive about it, so I may have to check that out. Operation Finale, I enjoyed. I'll just give you a little bit right now, but again, my full review's dropping after the news. I feel like Operation Finale struggled to tell the story that it wanted to tell completely. Like the focus wasn't there. Was it wanting to tell the story of the team that's trying to extract Eichmann back to Israel, or was it trying to tell the story of the main guy, Peter, who's played by Oscar Isaac, and like what he's going through in the story and what he has to overcome to work with the team to get Eichmann back? And then what is Eichmann's story and how is that kind of tying in? What's the counter argument that he's trying to present to these guys as the captive? I felt like they were struggling to kind of stay focused on what the story is they really, really wanted to tell. But the movie was really good. So stay tuned later in the show. Like I said, after the news, the full review will give you more details there, and you'll be able to kind of hear more about my thoughts on it. But I did recommend people go check it out. Spoiler alert. All right, so coming in at number 10, we'll just round it out real quick. We have Mile 22 at number 10, Black's Klansman at number 9, Happy Time Murders at number 8, Alpha at number 7, and Disney's Christopher Robin at number 6. So almost all of these films I have seen and reviewed. So just go to the movie review playlist on this channel. You'll be able to check all those out, and we'll get you squared away as far as what movies should you spend your hard-earned dollars and your time watching this week. So there you go. There is your top 5 weekend box office, rounding out top 10. Leave your comments in the comments section below. Let me know, what were your thoughts? Did you see these films? What did you think of these films? What are you looking forward to from these films going forward into the future, sequels, etc.? Let me know in the comments below. Start that conversation. All right, coming in, first news story of the day. Chadwick Boseman, otherwise known as Black Panther in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, says that Black Panther is aiming for the Best Picture nomination, not the new category popular film. So in the article, again, Hollywood Reporter down below, check it out. He talks about all of the work that went into making this film, how they had to create worlds, languages, etc. And he said that, you know, they're not really going for this new popular film category. Just like us, nobody really knows what this category is. So he said they're hoping to shoot for the Best Picture nom, and they've gotten, in the article, it talks about how they picked up Cynthia Schwartz, who is a veteran awards strategist, to help run the campaign to get the PR going to actually get this film into consideration for a Best Picture nomination for the Academy Awards. And I thought that's pretty ambitious. Now, I'm not going to knock somebody's ambition, like absolutely not, but I thought that was pretty ambitious to say up front they're going for Best Picture, right? That shows that he's got a lot of faith in the picture. He's got a lot of faith in the team, and he's got a lot of faith in Cynthia, who is going to be heading up the PR campaign to try and get this thing into that category instead of popular films. And so I wanted to take a look back at some of the other films that have been released so far this year, as well as what's still to arrive in theaters that I think are really going to present strong competition against Black Panther getting nominated for Best Picture. Because again, you can only have so many nominations in that category. So far this year, films that I think could give it a run for its money would be The Post, Hostiles, A Quiet Place, Avengers Infinity War, Won't You Be My Neighbor, and Tully. So these are the films I've seen and reviewed on this channel that I think could give Black Panther a run for its money as far as Best Picture noms are concerned. Won't You Be My Neighbor might be a tricky one because it is a documentary. I'm not sure if they'd actually consider that for Best Picture. They might. Incredibles 2 is another one where it could see itself get that nomination for Best Picture, but because it's animated, it has a lesser chance of getting that nomination. But animated films have been nominated before. Still to come this year, still to come, we've got A Star is Born, Mary Poppins Returns, The Irishman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, First Man, Beautiful Boy, and Mary, Queen of Scots. So there is a lot still to come this year. Not to mention we got a new Coen Brothers movie. I just saw the trailer for The Sisters Brothers. That looks good too. There is a lot of competition that is going to be heading our way now that we're moving into the fall season, which is typically Oscar season, right? So as we start moving into the more centered, the more human-centered pieces that really look at drama and stuff like real human emotion, more than action, aliens, explosions, etc. But like I said, we got 2 movies that are Westerns. They're going to have some gunplay in it. So there's still a possibility, but there's a lot of competition. So if the Black Panther team with Cynthia Schwartz can actually get this up and running and get this nomination, hey, kudos to them. Job well done. I enjoyed Black Panther, but I still think that there's a lot of other films out and other films coming out that are definitely going to give it a run for its money as far as that one particular category is concerned. Best visual effects, best editing. There are other categories Black Panther could be introduced, best costume design. There are other categories it could definitely be introduced into, but best picture, I think, is going to be really tough. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Black Panther getting nominated for best picture? What do you think about it getting nominated in the other categories? Hit it up in the comments section. Next article is coming to us from Empire. Die Hard 6. You may have forgotten that they were making this movie. I know I did. Die Hard 6 is getting... It finally has a title, right? And the title is just going to be called McClane. So his last name, John McClane, right? Instead of, you know, they had to talk about it was like year one or the first year or something along those lines, where it's going to go like way back in time and show who John McClane was, like before the Die Hard movie that we all know, the greatest Christmas movie of all time, arguably. But they were going to go back and take a look at what year one was like for a rookie cop, John McClane, right? So according to the article, they're still going to kind of be doing that. They're going to take a look back and forth, right? So older, more like 60-year-old Bruce Willis, right? And then kind of like looking back and telling his story is what it kind of sounds like from the article. So it's going to be flashbacks, and it's going to be a combination of a prequel, because it's going to take place before Die Hard back in the 80s. And then it's also going to take place in the present. So a sequel prequel is how it's described in the article, which I think makes sense. But as far as the title goes, McClane, I'm fine with the title. I don't have a problem with the title. If you watch the movies, if you're a fan of the franchise, you know someone's always shouting McClane, 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 McClane. So why not, right? Occasionally you'll hear someone say John McClane, or he'll say I'm John McClane, right? But usually it's usually somebody who's angry at him is shouting the name McClane. So why not, for the last film of the franchise, assuming it's the last, why not just have McClane, since all of the villains and all of the police officers and security guards and everybody else who's already been bothered by his antics have been shouting his last name? Why not just make that the title of the movie? I don't see a problem with it. I like it. If you have a better idea for the title of the movie, hit it up in the comments section. But Die Hard 6, McClane. So there you go. All right, last news story of the day before we jump into the movie reviews for Operation Finale. This is coming to us from Disney Parks. So Disney Parks has its own blog, so the link for that's down there. Disney Parks has announced in Star Wars Land, in the cantina they're building in Star Wars Land, they are actually going to be serving alcohol. That's crazy, right? Because if you're a fan of Disney like I am, you know that alcohol has always been banned inside the park, right? Walt Disney didn't want alcohol inside the park. In fact, in an article that he had with a reporter back in the 60s, he said that he didn't want alcohol in the park because he didn't feel you needed alcohol to have a good time inside Disney. He felt that they were creating such a fun environment that was so vast, so expansive, right, throughout all of the acres that Disney is, that to have fun, you didn't need alcohol. You could come in with your family. You could take the whole day in one land, is what he is quoted as saying in the article, or in the interview, where you have to go find that one. But in the interview, he said you could have one day in one land. It should take you. That's how much fun and that's how much detail and that's how much attention they paid to ensuring that when you walk in, when you pay the money to go into Disney, you're going to be fully immersed in that world, and it should take you about a day to get through that world. Now, obviously, today we know that that's not the case, right? You get fast passes, you bounce around the park like crazy going from one land to the next, and you try and get on as many rides as you can, or as many rides that you want to get on that you prefer, right? Maybe you want to get on Indiana Jones and the Jungle Cruise like 6 times before lunch. Do whatever you want. It's your life, right? Go crazy. But this is big because you haven't been able to get alcohol inside the park. It's going completely against the stance that Walt Disney had, which really surprised me. Now, you can go outside of the park, right? You can go into downtown Disney. You can ride the tram out, or just walk out and walk to downtown Disney, and the restaurants there serve alcohol. Or you can go into California Adventures, and California Adventures serves alcohol. So it's not like it's a dry county, right? But this is the first time that they're actually allowing it inside the park, which I think is pretty big. And I'm kind of looking forward to the reasoning why, if they even give that reasoning, as to why they decided that this was okay, considering it goes against what Walt Disney stated back in that article, you know, over 50 years ago. So curious to get more information from that. Curious to see kind of what the thought process is, if they even explain it as to why all of a sudden we're doing alcohol inside Disney, not, outside. Because, right, like I said, walk outside, go to downtown Disney, walk across the California Adventures, grab your drink, have a good time, relax, no big deal. But I'm just curious as to why all of a sudden the change. I get it because it's a cantina, right? So if you have a cantina, the Star Wars cantina, it makes sense that you'd want to have booze in a cantina. It's what a cantina is. But it's just curious to me as why all of a sudden the big change from what Walt Disney stated for just Disneyland itself to where we are now with Star Wars Land. So curious to see. Let me know what you think. Is it a big deal? Do you think it's a big deal? Do you even think it matters? Let me know in the comments section below. All right, and that wraps up the news for this week. If you enjoyed that, give me the thumbs up. We're going to move now into the movie reviews. Like I said, Operation Finale getting ready to come to you right now. And then right after that, don't go anywhere. We got more to talk about. We're going to be talking about what's hitting theaters this week, what's arriving on DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater this week, and my personal favorite segment, Certified Rad. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with those topics right after this movie review. It's post-World War II, and Nazi leadership has either committed suicide or is in hiding. One man in particular had managed to vanish without a trace. Then one day, a woman states that she may have located him in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Israeli special forces have to decide if this potential lead is worth investigating or not, and the story is off and running. So, does Operation Finale deliver on the intensity and drama in a post-World War II spy thriller, or is our time better spent spinning the dreidel? Let's talk about it in this review. The overall premise of the film was enough to capture my attention. One of Hitler's top commanders has been on the run, and the Mossad is now chasing after him. Tell me more. The team has to use non-lethal means to extract him and get him out of South America and back to Israel to stand trial. This all sounds great. We've got Sir Ben Kingsley to play the Nazi, and we've got Oscar Isaac to play the Israeli Special Forces hero. Award season, look out. But then the movie starts. Let's dive deeper. My biggest issue with this film is the runtime, and it just barely clocks in at over 2 hours. But to be honest, it does not need to be that long. The trailers lead us to believe that this film is about a team of agents sent to South America to extract Adolf Eichmann and bring him back to Israel to stand trial for his war crimes. And that's partially true. However, after watching this film, I realized that the heart of the story is actually about the two characters that Ben Kingsley and Oscar Isaac play. Oscar Isaac is playing the Israeli Special Forces soldier who is trying to deal with and come to terms with the death of a family member at the hand of Nazis during World War II. And this drives him to actually hunt down the remaining Nazis and kill them. And the other is Sir Ben Kingsley, who plays Adolf Eichmann, a man who has committed atrocities against humanity and is now trying to live out the last of his days with his family in Argentina. The issue of runtime arrives at about halfway into the movie when we see these two actors waxing poetic about the atrocities that Eichmann had done to so many people in Europe. That's when we discover that this film is actually about Oscar Isaac's character having to overcome his emotions to be able to complete his goal of extracting Eichmann and bringing him back to Israel. And at the same time, we see Kingsley's character's story running parallel to that of Oscar Isaac. He has to overcome being captured. Will he commit suicide? Will he be able to convince them to kill him? Or is he actually going to be extracted and flown back to Israel? So it's about in the middle of the film that we realize this entire movie is about what these two guys are going through and how we're going to get to the end of the story. So if any of the other characters don't really fit into that theme, then we can go ahead and cut some of those scenes or lessen those scenes to lessen the runtime. For example, at the beginning of the film, we have a lot of scenes with Eichmann's son, his love interest, these Nazi meetings. Now those moments build on those two characters, but again, in my opinion, I don't really think that all of the screen time we get for that was necessary because those scenes don't really do much to actually drive the main theme forward. Again, going back to Isaac and Kingsley's character. I don't need to see the story of his son because I didn't come to see the film about his son or the woman he becomes enamored with. Let's get back on topic and cut some of those scenes or just reduce the runtime of those scenes. Other than that, I thought the story moved at a pretty consistent pace. The tone was consistent and the performances by both Isaac and Kingsley were done very well. The shaving scene in this film was probably the best scene in the movie for me. The way the lines were delivered by both actors, the carefully timed pauses, the looks on their faces, as well as the looks they gave each other. Brilliant. Like I said, that was probably the best scene in the film. Incredibly intense, and it's just two guys talking while one shaves the other. Great work. Plus the other actors in this movie do a good job of complementing the moments that are happening on screen. Nick Kroll does a great job of stepping up to the dramatic acting plate, and he even does a nice job of kind of complementing some scenes where he's able to provide some levity to increasingly tense situations that are happening as the story unfolds. Job well done. Operation Finale is playing at your local movie theater right now, and I thought this film was going to be a nice starter for awards season, and I was right. We get some incredible moments and some okay moments. I thought the actors all did a good job, and I thought the story was told well. Just cut or reduce the runtime from some of those scenes with the non-essential characters. If you get excited for the more human-centered, dramatic stories that begin hitting theaters in the fall, this is definitely going to be a nice appetizer for the cinematic feast that awaits us. And because of that, Operation Finale is getting at least one high five from this guy. Operation Finale is playing at your local movie theater right now. Check it out. And we're back. All right, and there was the review for Operation Finale. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't seen the movie yet, there's my recommendation to check it out. And you kind of hear some of my thoughts as to the pros and cons with the story as far as I was concerned. Let's go ahead and dive now right into the next segment, which is going to be what's hitting theaters this week. Then we'll take a look at what's hitting DVD and Blu-ray for your home theater this week and Certified Rad. So coming in theaters this week, we have Peppermint and The Nun. Now, both of these films are very different. Obviously, Peppermint is a revenge tale. A woman loses her family, and then she goes on the run to get revenge on the people that took her family from her. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good action flick. Jennifer Garner looks like she's going to really deliver some pretty strong scenes as far as the trailers were concerned, as far as action and intensity go. And then The Nun, the trailer, I actually enjoyed the trailer. It's a horror movie. You guys know I'm not really big on horror films. But the trailer, I liked how they kind of switched up from doing the same kind of standard tropes of scare where the nun pops up behind her while she's walking through that corridor. And instead of that nun jumping out at her and they're doing like a close-up on the nun's face, the nun swoops in from the side. A different one swoops in from the side, complete misdirection. So I thought the trailer was cut pretty good. I thought it was creative as far as the scares they're going for and kind of keeping you guessing as to where that jump scare is going to be. But I'm not a big horror guy, so I'm not sure if I'll be getting out to see The Nun, but Peppermint definitely has my attention. So let's check out what's hitting DVD and Blu-ray for your home theaters this week. We have Hereditary, Adrift, and Won't You Be My Neighbor. Hereditary got some pretty good reception. It was a little mixed back and forth as far as people's shock value. Did they like the film? Were they just completely blown away by the film? Did they not understand what was happening in the film? There was a lot of mixed reception on it, but it was a pretty good 50-50 split from what I could tell as far as people who enjoyed it versus people who were confused by it. And then Adrift was the story about the couple who takes the boat across the ocean and gets caught in the hurricane, and they got to kind of figure out how to get it back to the mainland. And that looked okay. And then Won't You Be My Neighbor, I absolutely loved. Big fan of Mr. Rogers and his philosophies and stuff like that, and how he thought you should talk to children and kind of like what his impact was in being a positive role model for children and being a positive male role model for children. Very important in today's society. So I thought Won't You Be My Neighbor was absolutely wonderful. I loved my time in the theater watching that movie, and I'm definitely recommending you guys check that out. Now, if you want more details on it, my review is available on the movie review playlist for Won't You Be My Neighbor. But again, spoiler alert, loved Won't You Be My Neighbor. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump into the last segment this week, Certified Rad. We're closing in on that 30-minute mark, so we're going to try and get you guys back to your Monday mornings, whether that's at home with kids, whether that is at the office, whether that is wherever you work, right? Wherever you're watching this, wherever you're listening to this right now, thank you so much. We'll let you get back to that here in just a quick moment, but I want to dive into this week's Certified Rad. For first-time watchers, Certified Rad is a story or something that I find or someone sends me. They go, hey, check this out. I look it over. If it's rad, we'll certify it rad every week right here on this show. And this week, Certified Rad is coming to us from today.com. Today.com. A homeless man lands a job at McDonald's thanks to a police officer's good deed. Now, if you follow the news at all, you know that for a while, cops were really getting a bad rap and people weren't really appreciating the hard work that goes into being a police officer and how they put their lives on the line every single day. This story actually not only reminds us of that, but then it takes it a step further and lets us see kind of the more human side of police officers, right? Because they're not just badges and guns that walk around protecting us. They're actual people that have real hearts and real feelings, etc. So this story really does a great job of highlighting that fact. So a homeless man walked into a McDonald's, was looking to apply. They said, look, if you can get your act together and just shave and bring in your ID and stuff like that and show that you're eligible to work, we'll be happy to hire you because you did a really good job in the interview. So the homeless guy goes outside, starts trying to shave himself like at a bathroom, like window stall thing, like outside of a gas station. And this cop walks by and sees it. So the cop decides, I'm going to stop and help this guy because he looks like he's struggling to kind of like get this whole thing shaved and cleaned up. So the cop takes time out of his day. He didn't realize he was being recorded, right? So this video goes viral. And it's just this cop being a nice guy, helping this homeless guy because the homeless guy is trying to get a job. People helping people. Powerful stuff. So when you take time out of your day, well, first, when you choose to be a public servant and put your life on the line to protect people, that's certified rad. And then you go out of your way just to be a kind-hearted person and help somebody else who's trying to get a job, who's maybe a little bit down on their luck, doubly certified rad. And when you're homeless and you look at the situation, you go, look, I could probably work there. And you step up to the plate and you swing a home run. That's triple certified rad. So we've got triple certified rad stamp on this week's episode. Awesome work to the police officer who took time to actually help Phil. Phil was the guy's name, the homeless guy. So he helped Phil in the streets of Tallahassee, Florida, outside of a McDonald's. So great work, everybody involved there. Hope the new job goes well for him. Hope everybody in the neighborhood, right, realizes that the cops are there to protect and serve, as well as sometimes step outside of the box and just be kind-hearted people that help people in need. That's part of the job, right? And it's pretty awesome that he answered that call. So that is this week's episode. That was the Certified Rad segment. That was movie reviews. That was news. That was a little bit more. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, again, go ahead and give me the thumbs up because the thumbs up helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show right here on YouTube. Also, don't forget, if you haven't yet, click the subscribe button and then hit the bell so you get the notifications once new content drops. And if you made it all the way to the end of this week's episode, thank you so much for joining me here yet again for another Monday morning movie news, reviews, and more segment. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, again, check out the links below if you have any interest in starting your own YouTube channel. I throw some recommendations for gear and tech down there as to what I think you might want to consider for starting your own channel to talk about whatever it is you're passionate about. Share it with the world. People kind of dig that. All right, everybody, I'm Jeremy Brunansky. This is Brunansky's Vlog. I'm getting out of here. I hope you guys have a great Monday. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week as well. Hope you're able to get out to see some movies this week. And as always, and until next time, good night and good luck.